Hey, I'm Adam Quiney. I was both a guest and a listener to the Insanity podcast, and two things that I really liked about this podcast. First is what great hosts and how thoughtful Sam and Fred both are. You can tell that both of them have done a great amount of work. Like there's a real depth of practice in their own being, meaning they're not just talking words, they're not just speaking stuff that sounds smart, they are in the practice of it. They walk their walk. So that's the first part that I think is really rich and rewarding about this podcast and this kind of conversation, as opposed to so many of the conversations which are out there. Because frankly, it's a lot easier to talk about stuff like talking about being vulnerable rather than actually being vulnerable in the moment. Telling a story about that time that things were really vulnerable rather than being vulnerable right now with you, with the audience. And Sam and Fred are not doing that. They're leaning in, they're playing on their edge in the podcast. And second, that I think is really great is the amount of space they hold for the guest to put themselves into the space. So some podcasts I listen to and then stop listening to, usually the host or hosts will have on a guest and then the host will talk. And then the guest kind of says a few things and the host shares their opinion on that. And Sam and Fred both do a beautiful job of creating a synergistic experience with the guest, where you are getting everything that the guest has to say, but also Sam and Fred's take on it and their guiding without bulldozing. So it's really beautiful. A lot of the guests they bring on are really cool, and you hear really fascinating things that are really applicable and make a difference in your life. Check it out. I think I've just shared what makes Insanity unique, which is the depth of practice that the hosts have in their being. Rather than just talking about the stuff, they actually model it every step of the way. I would definitely recommend Insanity or an appearance, I suppose, on Insanity to other guest prospects, because you're going to get a chance to deepen your own knowledge and your own thinking about whatever it is you're bringing, as opposed to simply having a platform to say what you're already saying in the world, which is fine if that's what people are looking for. But there's a lot more available in coming on to Insanity than just a platform to say what you're already saying. I don't know if I'd say the experience was necessarily transformative, but certainly it was a great experience being on Insanity, and I think the conversations, what they do is open the door for more possibility, which is the seed from which transformation can grow. One aspect of the interview that left me inspired was just the opportunity to meet and be in something with some other people. So it wasn't simply an opportunity to come, have a conversation, leave, but really to kind of get our hands dirty collectively and, like a round table. And that was really cool. I don't know if I'd recommend a mentor if someone wanted to learn how to be an effective podcaster, not because there's anything wrong with Fred or Sam, but I would probably send those people to be coached rather than to be mentored to be an effective podcaster. Probably not the most helpful testimonial.